Well, welcome everybody. I was going to just show you our opening screen. Welcome back, Lisa. How are you?
Hello, Bill. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. It's been a more relaxing day, I think, being a national holiday today.
Yes, those Spanish holidays are fabulous. No, particularly on a Tuesday and a Thursday in the week. Yeah.
I know, I know. We've used this this they call it the puente, the bridge, sometimes to take a sort of trip away. Depending on how it falls. If it I don't know, it's a Monday, Wednesday, and then you've got Saturday and Sunday before it, and then maybe take just a couple of days off work and things. And we've used this for traveling to Scotland sometimes. But I tell you what, the weather in Scotland in December is crap.
Oh my God, I've been hearing from all my friends in England about how bad the weather is in Britain. So even though
Yeah.
it's lashing here a
Well,
little bit,
we've got I think an orange alert from midnight tonight till
no,
midday tomorrow.
yeah, I was going to talk about that actually. It's an amber alert,
It's an
apparently.
amber, is it?
I assume that. Actually, if you think about it, it's kind of like traffic lights. I don't know much about the weather in the sense, but anyway, you could be right. But we've got, other than Saturday, we've got rain coming every day for the
Right.
next 10 days. But the good news is that it's filling our reservoirs.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? That I think the one near Malaga was down to about 9%.
Yeah.
And I guess the 9% of water that was left in it was pretty like mud,
Mm.
getting filtered out. So yeah,
We
this
can't
is
complain.
no. I can show the map. Um, So you can see here the yeah, I think it is it orange, yeah. Um, Along the coast basically,
Yeah.
from right down
Moving
from
on.
Cadiz, pretty much up to Malaga. So yeah, I think if people have got guttering and things, if we do get heavy rain, I would recommend you get the gutters cleaned out and things before the rain comes down.
That's very practical. My
Yeah.
partner's actually going sailing.
Uh, right. Okay. I mean,
So
but if it's raining heavily, I mean, how do you get water out of boats?
don't know, ask him. He's going with six blokes, so I think it's a batten down the hatches situation. All I can say is I'm glad I'm not going, and England's playing in the
Oh,
football. That's all I care.
right. You were watching the Spain versus Morocco
Yes.
match on Tuesday. Uh, I
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I
Well,
gather, I gather Spain didn't win. I haven't seen anything about it other than Morocco seems to be very happy.
yeah. Well, it was painful to watch. Not painful to watch because I'm an avid fanatical English supporter. Of course, we're playing at 8 o'clock against France on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, but the Spanish match was painful to watch, really. And they have a fairly talented team. But when it goes to penalties, all bets are off, and
Oh,
you just
right.
never know
Okay.
what's going to happen. And it was heartbreaking, and not well. I could understand being in Fuengirola. I could understand the Moroccan people all over the place celebrating
Of
because
course.
if
Yes.
England beats France on Saturday, and there's going to be a really crazy 50-year-old running up and down the Fuengirola waving her English flag. So I understand the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how it ends up in some violence and violent clashes. And we have seen in Spain, in Malaga, uh, and in other places. Let's see, we've had it in Europe, in France, in Lille, but people erupting. This is where sport becomes the bad side of sport. And I'm not just pointing the finger at Moroccans, because the English hooligans are just as bad in many ways.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it sad. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. People take it all very personally, and I think it's the new kind of gladiatorial contests, you know, and people do
Yes.
tend to get very upset about it. And you know, listen, if I were Moroccan and was following football, I'd probably want to go out and celebrate. You know, it's quite an achievement to win, even if it is on penalties against a country like Spain.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, all credit to certainly in my district in Fuengirola, and I'm in the centre of Fuengirola, to the police, because they seem to have the situation under control. But
right.
yeah, it is a shame, and I'm just, well, it won't happen in Spain, but I do hope that again, I can see why the Moroccans are really, and I'm very happy for them, because I understand how it feels having watched England all my life.
Yeah.
But I think the message here is, yeah, enjoy it, and but it's a football game. It's men with balls. It's nobody died. Nobody died.
Would you like to rephrase that one at all?
Well, it is. I mean, I always say that to my girlfriends. I've got a particular girlfriend, Michelle, and she's as mad a football supporter as me. And when we get really upset when England aren't winning, I just turn around to her and I say, "Well, it's just men with balls, Michelle," and it makes her laugh. Sorry, you allowed to say that on Bill Anderson's show?
No, listen, Lisa. This is your show. You can say what the hell you like.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that if you are. Moving on to that, I've got a few interesting and funny things that have happened, and then some more serious things.
Right.
First of all,
Okay.
I'm going to kind of let you know about a few things that are happening on Costa del Sol that are interesting. There's been a lot of press about Robbie Williams is coming to the Mare Nostrum on the 15th of June.
So I believe, yes.
I think the tickets are about €89, which isn't too bad, I suppose, for a star like him. I mean, I won't fork out that money to see it, but I'll sit on the beach and listen to him right outside the castle.
Oh, you cheapskate.
Yeah, that sounds really cheap. I mean, sorry, if it was, somebody I'm absolutely mad about, then I'd fork out for the tickets. But
Yeah.
Robbie Williams wouldn't
Yeah,
really
but
rock my.
it's still quite an expensive night out, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah, it is, and if you factor in drinks and everything, it's
Yeah, and I don't know what things are like at Mare Nostrum, but I know the concert they had here in Mijas. I think they were charging about €10 for a pint, um,
oh
and about
yeah,
€12 for a hot dog. So,
yeah.
a pint and a hot dog, you're €22 on top of your
Right. I
ticket
mean,
prices, and well,
I went to the Rod Stewart concert a while back at the Mare Nostrum. I do remember even then the drinks just being ridiculous. So he's coming at Fuengirola, and a really interesting show. And I just had a look at it, and I was saying to Arturo, I really, really want to go to this. And you've got the Malaga Lights anyway, but on the
sure.
23rd of December, I believe at 8 p.m., they have a drone show, 120 drones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they do like the Star of Bethlehem and lots of different. I had a look at it because we actually can't go that day. We have an important lunch
Right.
with some people that you may know.
All right.
I saw it online,
Uh,
and it looked great. And we were talking about this and the fact that in China, and even I think this is going to grow in Malaga, because it was completely packed, and they've run it from, I think, like the 4th to the 9th of December, and I think they've only got one more on the 23rd.
right.
And it just looked amazing, I think. And other countries are doing this, and I think it's an interesting concept for advertisers,
Yeah, sure.
because Victoria Malaga, the beer, was the advertiser, and wow, what a way to advertise your product, because
Yeah.
you've got a completely captured audience there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a kind of light show without it being fireworks, I guess, you know?
Yeah, and of course that's a much safer
Yeah.
way. Apparently they just, and I won't give you all the technical details, they just program it all in.
All
And
right. Okay.
yeah, it looked amazing. I think this is something that's really going to grow in our region for a variety of things. A, because it's safe.
Yeah.
B, I think they're going to refine it more and more. So I got kind of excited about that. Look, lots of different Christmas things going on, but I'm talking about in my area.
Right.
And I'm coming back to my area. I just wanted to mention that I got my letter in Spanish and English in the post, so I can vote in the
Yes.
Spanish elections, which is exciting. I got that about 10 days ago. So I wanted to chat with you about that, because I know we're trying to get people to vote, and the
Indeed.
reasons they are voting, which is so important if you're living here. So I wonder what you thought about that, Bill,
Well,
and educating people about how they can actually vote.
yeah, I think there are two things. Well, there's three things really. The first one is that I know that Fuengirola actually took it upon themselves to contact eligible voters in the municipality,
Mm-hmm.
which for me is a bit of a campaign to get people to register. Unfortunately, Mijas decided not to. I asked several months ago if they were going to have some kind of campaign to get the international community to register. I asked this in a council meeting, and they said no because everybody knows what to do. And it's
Yeah,
very
that's
clear
just not true, because I
it's
mean,
not true. No.
no, because I've lived here for quite a considerable time, and I've actually am Irish English. So
Yeah.
another point to make in my letter, which people might not be aware of, is if you're an EU national, and I have an Irish passport, you can register. And well, it's certainly for those who are listening from Fuengirola, it's certainly very easy in Fuengirola, because
Yeah.
you just go onto a website, fill in your data, and then actually just send a copy of your passports. Quite well. I haven't done it quite
Right.
yet. It
Sure.
seems like an easy, or I can trot down to the town hall. Now, I have until the 30th of January, but just for the British, and I think it's the Norwegians as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
there are about 8 or 9 countries included in this list of countries that have a reciprocal agreement with Spain. And the main European country is Norway, and obviously the United
Yeah, and
Kingdom
Britain.
now. There are various other countries, including Bolivia and Cape Verde and South Korea, believe it or not, that have agreements with Spain for their residents here to vote. But yeah, the important thing for the non-EU residents, which includes the Brits and Norwegians, is that we have to have been legally resident here for at least 3 years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is where some of the councils
If
are
you're
getting
British, not if not if you hold an EU passport. Am I right?
that's only for for the
For the
countries that
nine.
have this agreement and not because they're EU members.
And which, do you know exactly which countries those are?
Well, yeah, I mean certainly United Kingdom, Norway.
Mm,
I do have a list somewhere actually, but it includes Cape Verde, Bolivia,
that's interesting.
South Korea, and there are various others. I just can't remember
Any
off.
other European ones?
No, I don't think there are other European countries other than those that are part of the EU.
Hmm. So, I mean, British people must be aware that they must register their. And really, the easiest way for them is to go to their local town hall, is it?
It is going to be the easiest way. That there are allegedly other ways to do it through something called Clave, which is a kind of digital certificate. But to be honest, I know people that have got it and got it on their phones, and they can have their driving license on it and all sorts of things. but I can't seem to get the damn thing to work. So it's not simple to set up. So the
Yeah, I
easiest
mean,
thing is to get down to your town hall and ask to register. Take everything with you. Take your TIE. If you have a copy of your old green paper, if you've changed to TIE, take that with you because that will show when your original registration was as well. Take your passport with you, and that should be enough. But it seems to be that around Spain, different councils are dealing with this in different ways. What a surprise. Um, but the thing is, we've got Christmas coming up, then we've got New Year, then we've got the Reyes, the Three Kings. So we've got a lot of celebrations, and there's potentially a lot of people to get registered. So I would say, you've got a free morning, get down to your town hall, take these papers with you, your old green paper, if you still have that, because some people still have it and haven't changed. If you've got
that
a
would be
TI,
me.
if you have a TIE, then if you happen to have a copy of the old green paper,
Hmm.
maybe stored on your computer, take it with you. But if you've got a permanent TIE, that's the 10-year one. You have to have been resident for a minimum of 5 years to get the 10-year TIE, the permanent one.
Mm,
So that shouldn't be a problem. It's
grand.
only going to it's only going to be a problem for people that maybe have the 5-year TIE, and then they will need to check when it started and how long they've been resident.
I think the important thing to note is if you have got a free morning and you have to have your vote because, as you pointed out to me the other day, all these issues that people moan about. I mean, I know a lot of people say, for instance, in the Caledonians, they were worried about squatters, security, cleanliness, all the
Yes,
where the money is being spent, accountability.
yeah,
Uh, are your area's needs being met? Like sometimes I think
yeah,
Calanda gets the bad part of Mijas in the sense that the focus seems to be on Alacala and Mijas Pueblo. And
yeah.
just because Calanda is kind of on the border with Marbella, they seem to be a little bit forgotten in
Mm.
those issues. So if those are issues that are constantly bothering you, then the only way you can truly voice your opinion is by voting.
Yeah, and but people are saying to me, "Oh, we don't know who to vote for." And what I'm saying to people, Lisa, is forget about who you're going to vote for. There's going to be 5 months before the elections. Even once we get into the new year, during those 5 months, you can ask all the questions you want of any candidates or any teams that are being presented. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter if you're not registered. So, my push at the moment is get
Yeah,
registered and then think afterwards about, okay, I want
yeah.
to find out what these different parties are representing. And, I would say, forget about left and right. People, have said to me, oh, I'm from the left. Well, what does that actually mean?
You're boxing yourself in there when you say that because
Yeah. And
everybody has an opinion on all different subjects.
the thing is,
So
if the left are not representing your needs, well, why vote for the left just because you say I'm from the left, or I'm from the right? And if the right aren't representing your needs, then why vote for them? But there's plenty of time for people to get their heads around that bit
I
before the
totally agree,
elections.
and if people are viewing this, my best advice would be read the Surrey English and Olive Press and all the local free newspapers and educate yourself about who you're going to vote for because
Sure.
and inquire and there's lots of resources online to find out. I mean, to be honest, I don't know who the hell I'm going to vote for in Fuengirola, but before I cast my vote, they're going to be questioned,
Yeah.
probably on Costa del Sol Chatter.
But Lisa, the point that you made is a very good point. And I get comments and messages from people all the time and I'm not just going to say Calonda Riviera, although that is a huge area,
Yeah.
but from a lot of the urbanizations. You've got
Mm.
Mijas Golf that is enormous. I
Yeah.
think there's about 4,000 or 5,000 houses in Mijas Golf
Yeah.
alone. You have urbanizations all along the coast, right up into the mountains almost.
Yeah.
And you know, I get people complaining all the time that they seem to be neglected. You know,
Well, I
why are we
understand
not
that.
getting this done? Why are we not getting that done?
Well, I understand that because I was a happy Calahonda resident for quite a few years, but I personally felt Calahonda, certainly in cleanliness,
Mm,
with dog
sure.
shit and things like, was neglected in comparison
Yeah.
to the Cala, and it doesn't seem very fair. And
Yeah.
rubbish issues now, I think they probably maybe. Well, I don't know. They still have squatter issues, but I do think that
Yeah.
they seem to be a little bit like the poor sister to some of the areas that seem to be focused on. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and I
but
don't think that's fair.
these are the questions that people can be asking those that are presenting themselves, or the leaders of the parties that are presenting themselves. What are you going to do for the urbanizations? Because for the last 7 years, nothing has been done for the urbanizations. And you know, these are the questions that people need to ask their potential representatives. And these kind of questions,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is what bothers me. I'm going to ask so and so and so and so and so, what are you going to do about this? And then you make your decision afterwards, you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a serious thing, and I do hope people get out to vote. But you did mention the Three Kings, and
yes.
so I was thinking about Christmas. I know that Anne doesn't like the C word now. I was thinking about Christmas and I was thinking, well, there's quite a lot of British, Irish, well, English speakers that listen to you, yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, this is going to be my first actual Spanish Christmas,
All
yeah.
right. Okay.
So this is the first time with my Spanish partner. So I've been looking at the different cultural differences between
Uh,
us all, and I found that there are quite a few. Like, for instance, they give out their prezzies on Christmas Eve. There's
yes.
going to be, yeah. What's
Yeah.
that all about? I was maybe allowed my children one present, but Christmas Day is the day, And the other shocker is, where's my turkey? That's not going to happen this year. Yeah, where's that gone? Apparently it's going to be like lamb and patatas bravas. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What happened to
Yeah.
my Christmas pudding? Setting it on fire with the brandy over it. That's all gone out the window.
Well,
So,
what you can do, Lisa, is you can invite them all back to your place on Christmas Day and do that.
no thanks, mate. Anyway, I at least know about shoving the 12 grapes down my gob before midnight. That I
Yeah.
think that I can. The only two things I'm not going to yield on, yeah, and I'm quite happy to immerse myself in another culture is Christmas stockings because
Right.
they just look cute, yeah.
Uh,
And the King's speech is going to be
all
the
right.
first King's
Indeed.
speech,
Yeah.
which is a tradition in my family. So I think we'll manage,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Well, you just need to keep sober enough on Christmas Eve, so that you're up for 3 o'clock for the King's speech.
and in a very funny story that I read today, moving on swiftly, this was so funny. The headline in my head is "The Bunny is Back." Apparently, um, there's a village in Ronda called Parauta, yeah, and
Uh-huh.
they have a rabbit festival every year, and they've had it for the past 13 years,
Right.
and they have this rabbit ornament. I should have actually sent you a picture of it,
Uh-huh.
but it's been missing. Somebody stole it on the 12th of November. So the
Right.
town hall issued a reward for the bunny, this bunny, of €100 because they've had this bunny for 13 years. Yeah. And guess what? The wabbit has been found and is back at home.
I,
He was found, he or she, I'm not sure, could be, I don't know, could be any sex, doesn't matter. Was found in a ditch, so had clearly been robbed at the end of the rabbit festival, and yeah, the bunny is back.
yes,
So I'm definitely going to go and see this bunny now. Somebody mentioned to me that they thought it might be a conspiracy to get promotion for the village. I don't think so. If they've had that
right.
bunny for
Yep.
13 years and they offered a €100 reward, I think that's a genuine thing. So I'm going to go and see that bunny
Yep.
now.
Well, I shouldn't really show too many photos because they're mainly from, like, say, the sewer in English and whatever, and I might get into trouble for copyright if I do. But that was a quick blast of the bunny from Parauta.
Yeah. And in other news, and I do have some more sort of serious news.
Yeah,
One thing that I found was interesting, and I think you'll find this interesting, you've probably read about it. Spain has a new law about rape, which says only yes means yes. It was put into law in early October.
right,
And it now makes no distinction between sexual abuse, assault, and rape, i.e., that it's just only yes means yes. Now,
right.
a lot of legal people are disagreeing with that. So, and a lot of other, it's something that has divided people, but whether it divides you or not, what is key is the after effect of this law is that now that convicted rapists, one that was in, I don't know if you remember the story of the Pamplona festival, are now trying to get, because the sentence has reduced, now trying to get their sentence reduced. So
Right,
it's had a knock-on effect and been an added bonus for convicted rapists.
right.
So sometimes these laws need to be thought out, in my humble
Mm,
opinion. I'm not a lawyer, a little better, I think. And what I don't understand is how you can enshrine, I suppose this is the law, but how you can enshrine a law only to find that it's going to be of advantage to somebody who's already convicted.
yes,
It's a touchy subject.
clearly it is, and I think if there are legal people that are, quote, against it, it's probably because that there are gaping holes in the
Yeah,
law as it's been written that,
yeah,
as you say,
yeah,
actually, may reduce the or free people up that are already convicted of these things. It sounds like it's been badly assembled, the law.
yeah. I think it's my understanding is it's a little bit more of a campaign that has won. Obviously, I completely agree. Only yes means yes. I mean, any
Yeah.
woman would. But I do think that perhaps you should have things put into categories and have their relevant sentences. I think that's my feeling rather than a
Right,
complete blanket coverage, I suppose, is
right.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It's a very serious subject, and I certainly don't want to offend anybody, but I did think when it went into in early October, I did think to myself, there's going to be an effect of this, and I only just read that today, so that was
right, right.
quite interesting. But in lighter news, and this isn't necessarily about Costa del Sol, but I do find it fascinating. The people of Galicia have taken it upon themselves to prove that Christopher Columbus was in fact Spanish.
All right, okay.
So they're exhuming the bones of his supposed cousin. Lots of archaeologists and forensic anthropologists are taking a lot
All
of
right.
time. to prove that he was in fact a Galician noble. So now,
Ah,
the reason I the reason I found this interesting was that there are at least 9 countries, 9 European countries, Greece, Poland, Portugal, that also are fighting over who was he actually, where did he hail from?
right.
Which, I don't know about you. I know history is really important and I am fascinated by it. But do you not think we've got more pressing issues to deal with right here and right now with the needs of people than this? Or what is your view?
Oh,
It's a tough
um,
one now because I'm going to offend the historical community now.
no. The thing is, if there are always going to be, there are a lot of economic problems just now. People struggling to pay their fuel bills, people struggling to put food on the table. But there have always been these, and I'm going to call them social problems, economic problems. People are going through a hard time at the moment. But if you have to wait until all these things are sorted before you actually explore other aspects of our lives, whether it's history or archaeology or whatever, then these other things would never get done.
Yeah.
So if there are people who are interested enough to carry out this research,
Then let them away with it, I suppose, because I mean, I think
I,
it's fascinating,
I
don't get me
suppose
wrong.
so, because if we have to wait until all the other problems of the world are sorted before we do these things, that they will never get done. I suppose that's what I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, tell me what you've done this week. Anything exciting?
No, I've been out and about for some meetings and things, and I was up in Micas Pueblo for Constitution Day, where they had an event with
Mm,
the town band there, and the great and the good from the political world there.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I I don't know. I spent a lot of time just communicating with people, back and forward by messenger and phone calls and things like that. But I think people are generally kind of starting to focus towards Christmas now. I was down for an interview with Dave James on
Oh,
Monday
yeah.
as well from Global Radio. So we're putting that stuff out as well, just again encouraging people to get down and register to vote.
Well,
So
he's a very funny guy. I don't know if you. I think you are. Yeah, you're on his Facebook because
yes, I am.
he
Yes,
puts up and he makes me laugh every day. If you're watching, Dave, and he puts up the most awful cooking I've seen in my. I mean, the dishes he makes just
yeah.
blow. I'm just wondering what he's going to do for Christmas.
Well, I did say to him just as I was leaving the studio, I said, Dave, can I make an appeal on behalf of your lovely wife, Elena? And he said, what's that? I said, for God's sake, take her out for dinner tonight.
I just don't know how he's so bloody creative with the photos. It's incredible. I mean, I'm like, oh Jesus, how could you possibly cook that? I mean, some of the ones he's come across, he puts up are just, it just brightens my day. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed, indeed, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, he's been very helpful and is very keen to help to push this message out as well. And
Yeah, and I mean, I think he would also be great for your viewers. As we're wrapping up here, to come up with ideas
sure,
for trying to get this information out
yes, yeah, yeah,
to the
yeah,
foreign residents,
yeah.
because I think it's very key. We are a powerful community, and we should use that power. You know.
Absolutely. And I have to say that uh, Global Radio and Glenn, who's the managing director there, have been really helpful. They put together a nice little sort of ad that they're running regularly throughout the day,
Perfect.
And I'll be publishing an interview that I did with Dave on Monday as well. So they
Great.
have been exceptionally helpful. And you know, they're very clear that I'm not out there touting for votes,
No,
Lisa.
I know
I just want to get to the point where people say, "Yep, I'm registered."
that. Yeah.
So you know, Global have been really helpful in helping to push this message out.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I do believe that this is going to be our last show before Christmas, but I do think I'll see you before then.
We may well indeed, yes, indeed.
Yeah. And who have you got lined up for the rest of the month?
Oh, I have to go to the now. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I have one of these calendars.
Okay, you don't. Yeah, well, so
Um,
do I. I write everything down.
uh,
That's not
um,
old-fashioned, I don't think.
Anna Nandith will be with us next week,
Yeah,
and she'll be giving us an update on the slight moves forward regarding driving licenses, and we'll probably talk
yeah.
about the voting again. Daniela's coming on the 22nd,
Hmm.
and Mario will be with us on the 29th, which should be the day after the final council meeting of the year.
Great. Well, listen, I'm going to say a very Merry Christmas to all your viewers. I hope you all have a very happy and safe Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And come on, England.
Lisa,
Spain are out of it now.
are they out? Are they out?
Out completely.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gathering I don't really follow the football.
Gathering that, yeah. So I'm your football person. Yeah.
Indeed, yes. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
And well, I guess I'll see you certainly before the end of the year.
Of course.
But you know, get the turkey and stuffing on for Christmas Day. Gi- Give Arturo a treat.
Negotiations are ensuing.
Well, thanks to everyone who's joined us today. It's almost a weekend, so have a great weekend when it comes. I think it might be a wet one, but that's also good for showers in the summer. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you again next week with Anna Nandith. Bye now, Lisa.